In today's video, the topic of discussion will be the FTAA and the ICC, also known as the Free Trade Area of the Americas and the International Chamber of Commerce.
The FTAA is an international trading agreement with the aim of eliminating or reducing remaining trading barriers to create the free flowing of money, goods, and services across the borders in the Western Hemisphere, and also to create one huge integrated open economy and open market in the Latin Americas.
Discussions of the FTAA began shortly after NAFTA agreements were made at the first summit of the Americas. This took place in the state of Miami, Florida in the year 1994.
During the second summit of the Americas, which was held in Santiago, Chile in April 1998, the leaders of the 34 countries launched the negotiations towards the FTAA agreement. Canada hosted the third summit in Quebec in April 2001, where the FTAA was discussed further. The deadline was set to be 2005, where all of the conclusions and the contracts had to be signed by.
The main mission of the FTAA is to ensure the prosperity, democracy, and free markets of goods and services within the Western Hemisphere. They want better strengthen human rights and to better protect the environment. Another main goal is to improve the labor standards in developing countries like Venezuela or Brazil.
According to the Organization of the American Stats and Inter-American Development, the long-term goals of the FTAA are to provide free market access to goods and services for the entire continent, to link less open and less developed economies with more open and more developed economies, promote modernization, efficiency, and more open, competitive, and stronger democratic societies in the Latin Americas and the Caribbean.
The FTAA functions through 9 negotiating committees. These committees consist of the Committee of Agriculture, the Committee of Intellectual Property Rights, the Committee of Government Procurement, and the Committee of Market Access.
The other 5 committees are Investment, Services, Subsidize and Anti-Dumping, Countervailing Duties and Competition Policy, and finally, the Committee of Dispute Settlement. Shortly after the third summit of the Americas, which took place in Quebec, the government of countries like Brazil, Venezuela, and Argentina started to oppose the FTAA agreement, stating that the FTAA would just be extending the same failed policies of NAFTA, which cost hundreds of thousands of American and Canadian jobs, worsened the poverty situation in Mexico, and threatened the environment since the environmental regulations were not followed. This caused a lot of disputes and conflicts to arise during the agreement, which slowed down the process of the signing of the FTAA. Soon after, on November 17, 2003, people gathered in Miami to take part in teachings on the harmful effects of the trade agreement like the FTAA and the reasons why it should never go through. As a result, hundreds of thousands of ballots were signed opposing the FTAA. Soon, strong opposition social movements in countries like Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, and Peru said no and stood firmly against the FTAA, causing the disagreements to begin and breaking the negotiations. Soon after, on the 4th Summit of the Americas, which took place in Peru, the agreement was not reached. 24 of the 34 countries agreed to have the FTAA on their agenda for their long-term plans. The FTAA did not come into effect, but the leaders did try to resume the negotiations in the 6th Summit, which took place in 2012, but ultimately failed to reach the agreement.
Now moving on to the ICC, also known as the International Chamber of Commerce,
which is the largest, most representative business organization in the world. Its hundreds of thousands of member companies in over 130 countries have interests spanning in every sector of the private enterprise. ICC has 3 main activities: rule setting, dispute resolution, policy advocacy. Because its member companies and associations are themselves engaging on international business, ICC has unrivaled authority in making rules that govern the conduct of business across borders. Although these rules are voluntary, they are observed in countless thousands of transactions every day and have become part of the international trade. A world network of national committees in over 90 countries advocates business priorities at national and regional level. More than 3,000 experts drawn from the ICC's member companies feed their knowledge and experience into crafting the ICC's stance on specific business issues. ICC lobbies the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and many other governmental bodies, both international and regional, on behalf of the international business. ICC was the first organization granted general consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. The history of the ICC was founded in 1919 to serve the world business by promoting trade and investment, open markets for goods and services, and the free flow of capital. The organization's international secretariat was established in Paris, and the ICC's International Court of Arbitration was created in 1923. The ICC's first chairman was a 20th century Prime Minister of Finance called Etienne Clemenceau. ICC's current chairman is Sunil Bharti and John Delovich, which were elected of the ICC or by the ICC World Council. The ICC functions through 5 governing bodies: the World Council, which provides the organization with high-level world leadership; the Executive Board, which oversees the establishment of the ICC's strategic priorities and the implementation of its policies; International Secretariat, which develops and carries out the ICC's work program, feeding business views into the intergovernmental organizations on issues that directly affect business operations; national committees; and finally, the finance committees, which advises the Executive Board on all financial matters. On behalf of the Executive Board, it prepares the budget and regularly reports to the board.
We hope you enjoyed our video. Make sure to check out these sources for more information on the free trade of the Americas or the International Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for watching.